Hi everyone and welcome to Midas HQ. My name is Sam and I'm really excited to get to introduce you to the new 2.3 firmware for the Midas HD series of consoles. It's going to be a long video today, we've got a lot to cover, so let's get straight into it. In version 2.3, we are introducing two new changes to the TC VSS4 reverb. Firstly, we've given it a makeover to bring it in line with the TC plugin, which makes it a little more familiar and easier to switch between console and computer. This has the added advantage of introducing a huge number of new presets for users to choose from. Now, those of you with keen eyes may have already noticed the second change. The VSS4 has now been optimized to only require 2 effects slots, while still providing the same great sound. So now that you've gained an effects slot, we thought you might want something new to take advantage of that spare DSP, introducing the BBX 160 compressor. The BBX is a simple and effective compressor to create punchy drums or tame the low end on a bass guitar or vocal. Interrupting here because our DSP team decided to surprise us after the filming of this video. They decided that one new effect was not enough and we should also include the new 2500 bus compressor in version 2.3. Now it has all of the familiar features that you're going to recognise from this classic analog unit, including the blend options which allow not only for wet-dry but for true parallel compression as well. We have two new additions to the macro system in this release, starting with macro-specific crossfades. This allows users to crossfade levels, pans and mutes, controlling the crossfade time on a macro by macro basis. In version 2.3, you now also have the option to fire macros from an external MIDI trigger by enabling the global option, selecting your chosen event type and setting the channel. Once enabled, an external MIDI control can trigger any macro on state using event numbers 1 to 50 or an off state using event numbers 51 to 100. For anyone who has found the new macro system useful, we've also increased the number of macros available to 50. For early adopters of the new Cobalt interface, you'll be pleased to hear that in version 2.3, we've replaced the 8 generic AES50 devices with a single 192 channel Cobalt device. This makes patching simpler and keeps your device list a little bit more organised. You can also now update the AS88 in the I/O updater at the same time as any other I/O devices. Now, if you attended this year's ISE Expo in Barcelona, then you will have seen a preview of our new Reaper integration. We're delighted to finally be in a position to share this with you. With this integration, users can easily create tracks, control transport functions, organise their project with markers, and have the playhead automatically jump to the correct position on a scene-by-scene basis. Now, I hope you picked a comfortable chair because we've got even more to cover in this video. So before we move on to the automation system, let's take a look at some miscellaneous features in version 2.3. Users now have the option to enable solo follows select or select follows solo on VCAs. The solo and select follow options can now also be part of your assignable preset. A new option has been added to VCA groups, which allows the VCA mute to also mute pre-fader sends. Resetting an aux mix has been made simpler with the addition of a clear contributions function. Hopefully you're already familiar with the handy pinning feature on the HD9624, but to enable this functionality on HD Air, we are now introducing the ability to control this directly from the UI. With the addition of this feature, users can now access the same pin, target select and flip target select functionality from the UI on both the HD9624 and HD96 Air. Next up, we're on to automation. So we'll kick things off with the basics and then build our way up to some super cool and seriously powerful new features. You can now lock any scene from the show manager to prevent them from being accidentally overwritten. Tap tempo can now be saved and recalled on a scene-by-scene basis. By default, the tempo is safe from recall. So, to enable this feature, simply visit the Preferences page and turn off the Tap Tempo Safe option. In version 2.3, the sidebar has a new option called User Layer. This works like one-shot pot where you touch a rotary to assign it to the sidebar and then you can pin it in place. The difference with User Layer is that your selection is saved and recalled on a scene-by-scene basis. This allows you to create custom layers of rotaries for each of your scenes. From version 2.3, your assignables presets and surface layouts are now embedded into your show file. This means that if for any reason you need to remove a show file from your user profile, for example to share it with another user or load it on a console that's not connected to the internet, all of your data is within a single show file. When loaded, if the surface layout or assignable preset is missing, then it will be recreated automatically, and from then on, you can edit it as normal. Moving on, we've extended our track changes function to include not just send levels, but all channel parameters, allowing the users to propagate a greater selection of relative and absolute changes to other channels and scenes. This parameter extension has also been applied to our Update Scenes function, with filters for drilling down to parameters of interest. Assignable buttons have also been added for track changes and Update Scenes for quicker access to these features. Finally, we have a number of new assignable options for bulk editing multiple scenes at once. You'll find two Update All Scenes buttons, one for relative and one for absolute. These will update all parameters in all scenes respectively. Now just a heads up, these functions can be a little bit destructive, so they're activated with a long press. Simply press and hold the surface button until you see the confirmation. If you're making use of the playlist functionality, you will also find the Update Playlist Relative and Update Playlist Absolute buttons. These work the same as the Update All buttons, but only for the scenes in the active playlist. We've added three programmable update buttons, which can be configured to update a selection of parameter groups, either absolutely or relatively in a selection of scenes. To program these buttons, open the Update Scenes menu, select the Custom Update option, select which preset you wish to use, and load. You can then select a group of scenes or all scenes, select your desired parameter groups, choose relative or absolute, and finally save your selection. This custom update macro can then be added to the assignables, and with a long press you can action your programmed update without opening the Update Scenes window. Well, that's quite enough excitement for one firmware update. Don't forget to subscribe to be the first to get new content from Midas, and you can let us know in the comments below which of these new features you're enjoying the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.